Before you can truly understand love, and before you can meet your divine feminine or your divine masculine, you need to meet that within yourself. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Michael, and in today's episode, we're going to discuss integrating your divine feminine or your divine masculine. If we're trying to attract our feminine, or the masculine aspect, if we're trying to attract our masculine. If we don't have a healthy version of that within ourselves, that's going to be mirrored. So when you're trying to represent that and attract that, it's not going to be clear. Or if you're going to attract it, it's going to have implications in an unhealthy, negative way. But that's okay. That's okay. We're going to look at several ways in which you can help yourself manifest and attract your twin flame, that person of your dreams. For the first talking point I wish to share, I'd like to look at why embracing your intuition is going to be a healthy thing. And this is assuming you're operating from a logical place constantly. It's really important to understand what intuition is firstly. Intuition is sort of a gentle voice that we have in our head, in our mind, that we are able to hear, but it's subtle. Very quiet, sometimes silent and faint. And it doesn't always come naturally or easily to be heard. Sometimes have to be very actively seeking it, which requires putting myself in a state of calm or silence. And we live in a very busy world and a very busy time, so that's not necessarily an easy thing for a lot of us, especially with smartphones and screens and work and life. It's important to stay very diligent to make and create that space so you can hear those important yet oftentimes not so loud messages. What that's going to do is it's going to create a space for us to operate from, and that's going to give us the forward momentum to know what maybe the next move is or the next insight for whatever the thing, whatever that intention you've set to understand something. And often leading towards your twin flame, knowing, oh, if maybe I love myself more, how can I love myself more? Oh, maybe if the voice says, hey, I can do XYZ. Maybe I can give myself a candlelit dinner once in a while. Maybe I can do some exercise. Maybe I can take a bath. Maybe I can, whatever it is. And that's going to be very helpful moving forward. I think another important aspect of this, though, is trusting what your intuition is wishing to show you and what it's trying to explain. Because so easily we can doubt it, especially if we're not used to understanding or listening, paying attention to what this voice is trying to explain to us. So if you're operating from that masculine perspective, that's more likely when you would be conditioned to not be comfortable with your intuition. And intuition is going to let you know that it's okay. But if you're not willing to trust it and listen to it, and in order to listen to it, it's one thing to hear it, but it's another thing to understand it. And then thirdly, it's a whole other thing to be able to take what it's saying and moving forward with a plan of action. Because that's what it does, is it gives you this magical little insight so you can put it in your pocket, and when the time is right, know when to act upon it. I believe another aspect of this is being comfortable enough to sit with yourself and with your feelings. And I believe a lot of us, we're not comfortable to fully sit in presence with the discomfort that comes with a lot of emotions that we have. It's okay. It's okay. That's okay. I think this is a very generalized thing that a lot of us have, but it's important to know that if you don't fully feel what you're feeling, it's not going to be able to be realized, and it's not going to be able to be passed through. So it's incredibly crucial to be present with your emotions and to give that space, and to not put an expectation on the time it takes for things to be healed, the time it takes for things to be realized. And it's like you can't race through it. It sort of takes as long as it takes. Like grief, joy, sadness, sorrow, like all these spectrum of good and bad. It's like everything comes to an end at some point. Realize that it too shall pass. Just do your best to to be accepting. It's kind of difficult, but you got to sort of just accept that where you are in the moment is where you need to be. When you do that, you allow space to align, to move forward and heal. And that's what's going to help bring your twin flame into the environment and into the situation and into your life. Be okay with that discomfort. So another thing you can do in order to move forward with your spiritual practice is to bring some structure. And this is, if you think of like your right brain, your left brain, those other two things may have been more right brain, more feminine. This is more of a left brain thing. So once you're into your state of understanding the next moves, the next realizations, you have to have some organization. Once you have the awareness of what to do from your intuition and your feelings, then that's the next thing you need to be aware of, is understanding how do you organize and structure it in such a way that it lets you build up a daily practice. And look at it like each day, by having a daily practice, you're putting a stone in the wall and you're building a wall. But it takes an amount of days in order to build something substantial. By creating that wall, you're building this foundation for yourself. You're aligning yourself. It's an energetic alignment, essentially, is what you're doing. And again, that's what's going to help allow you to align yourself to your twin flame. And what does this look like? Well, what could a practice look like? It could be many things. It can be journaling. It can be a meditation, or a walk. It could be anything that brings joy and calm and peace to your life. And ultimately, I believe that's what we're striving for here, is to have a life of this stuff, of good emotions, let's say. And you're never gonna fully have it this way, because there's always going to be challenges and turbulences, and that's awesome, because that's what gives you context and that's what brings growth. But what we're trying to do is, whenever we're in those difficult emotions, in those difficult stages, we're trying to bring it back to center through a practice. That's what gives you stability, and that's what creates a dynamic, so that you're anchored in that love, in that peace, in that joy, if that makes sense. So if you don't have a practice, by all means, I support getting one. And yeah, even if you're not sure how to get started on that, you can sort of listen to what I'm saying here, or if you want to dive deeper, please continue to check out the community. There's lots of people that would gladly give more information about what their practice may look like and what might be right for you. You can always watch more videos. You can watch coaching, or get some coaching. Yeah, many ways. I think we can all realize, to be a better version of ourselves, we have to understand the difference between receiving and giving as well. Receiving is sort of something that doesn't always come naturally to a lot of us, or vice versa, it could be giving, right? But these things need to work hand in hand. So if these aren't in balance, you're going to have a challenge maintaining equilibrium. And what we need to understand is that if you're not living from a centered place, you're going to find that external things will be pulling you in different directions, or your emotions will be pulling you in different directions. And it's like having that center, having that peace, that's what brings us calm and clarity. And again, that's only going to help invite that divine feminine, that divine masculine into our life. One of the final points I'd like to share is that it's important to accept that you're both the warrior and you're both the healer. It's not always easy to know when to act upon one or the other. The warrior is sort of, that's the logic. Well, I'd say it's more of the logical left side, where you got to go out and you got to create, and you got to insert and inject yourself into the world. And it's important that if you're doing it that way, you got to be balanced and aligned, and you're doing it from a heart-centered place. Because if you're doing it from an ego space, or a place that isn't aligning to your purpose or your soul's intention, it's going to potentially cause disruptions, difficulties, setbacks, maybe even catastrophes, depending on what that looks like. Having a clear intent is going to let you operate from your highest good. And knowing when to be a healer is the right side of your brain, that feminine side of your brain that's sort of letting you understand that you're helping, you're serving if you're doing it from that heart space, that higher self space. And it's all done from a place of service and caring and giving and sharing and wanting to help. And yeah, I mean, it can also be done from the ego space too, which maybe has an expectation or an agenda around something so that it can get something. But that's not what giving is. Giving is giving from a place of non-attachment without expectation, just because you know it's the right thing to do, because it's part of your mission or it's part of something you're able to provide that makes the world or someone else's life for the better. And when you do that, again, you align your energy to your twin flame, because ultimately your twin flame has that same purpose, and that same mission is to give and to serve. So when you're able to just live from that perspective, you're only increasing your chances of being able to vibrate at that same level, so that you can finally manifest each other into your existence. So yeah, guys, I hope today's video was insightful and that my points were helpful. If you haven't already, please take the test below. It is going to help you understand next place on your twin flame journey. Yeah, like and subscribe and leave a comment if you have anything you wish to mention about this video. And all the best. See you all in the next video.